Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be a live trade video where I try to capture some of my trades as they play out live. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. Number one, I am trading futures. If you don't know what futures are, they're awesome. For you stock and options traders out there that struggle and are annoyed by the pattern day trading rule, there is no pattern day trading rule within the world of futures. So that's just one reason why they're great. But if you do want to learn more about futures, I'll put a link down below in the description area to a totally free 4-part series that I have on futures trading that'll explain how they work and all that. And then second, I'm trading futures through a prop firm. What is a prop firm? How does a prop firm work? Which prop firm am I using? All that can be found at the link that you see on the screen. And I'll also put it down below in the description area. But, in a summary, prop firms allow you to put very little of your money on the line, so you have very little of your money at risk, yet you have a whole lot of upside potential. So that's just a summary version, but if you want to learn more, like I said, go to that link and definitely use that link because the prop firms are always running promotions, and that link right there will ensure that you get the best and current promotion at this time whenever you're watching this. So I will pause the recording software for now, and as soon as I find a trade, I will get things rolling. All right, I have an order at that green line, and I'm in and out there for a very, very fast $115. If you blinked, maybe you missed it, but you can see right there that is now 115. The market literally just opened, so I wanted to be extra aggressive with it, as it really could have done what it's doing now, dropping down. I'm going to go to the micros right now. What is it down there? 54. Let's do this. So I'm interested at that green line right there. I'd be interested in potentially adding some more too. Unless it wants to give me a quick scalp. No, got to move it down here now some more. Okay, we'll go right there. And yeah, let's see if this wants to pull back some more. I'll pause. Okay, coming down. Close. Oh. I got to go down some more now. Oh, come on. I've got to go down some more. Ah. And I got a little too greedy. I could have weathered those storms, but at the same time, there was clearly a lot of downwards pressure, so a little nervous. Do we get a little bit of a bull or a bear flag to form here? Now, I'm not willing to take a break on this candle, but if another candle or two wants to form and come down, or if this thing just wants to bounce straight back up. But yeah, we'll see if that line comes into play at all in the future. But as right now, bouncing right back up. All right, I'll pause. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get short there. 5 micros. All right, well, it decided to just give me the scalp. So $30 on that one. Again, I wanted more than 5, but if it was going to give me, in hindsight, why don't you hold? You're right. I should have hold. I agree with you. My only suggestion and just reminder to you and to myself as I say the same thing is, well, it's easy to say that with hindsight. But again, I'm still watching that line right there. Like I said, we'll see if it wants to consolidate out a little bit more and potentially come back down to that area. So another relatively quick trade there for $30. Try again up there. Push in. Nope. So it's close, but not quite. You can see the price Almost hit the pink line, didn't quite hit it. Pink line being the 200 period moving average, but in trading close is not good enough. All right, I'll pause. Wow, I walked away for a second, had to talk to some kids, and down it goes. But look at that. I have not moved that yellow line. Now, I can't. You can't take that short though. That's chasing. That's too big of a candle. I wanted to see it come down a little bit more methodical than that. And if that means I missed the trade, I missed the trade. But I do not feel good about this breakdown at all right now, given the nature of the approach. Like I said, if it just flushes, then so be it. I feel fine. I can't take that. As of now, it's gone. Look at that thing. Well, it is what it is. In my mind, that was totally chasing the price down. The candle, yeah, it just did not. That was not the approach I wanted to see it to take. But yeah, it's going. Remember when I was short up here? Again, I say that kidding because I followed my plan, and that's what trading is about: following your plan. And yeah, sometimes hindsight will make you look like a total moron. But to be fair and to be accurate, sometimes hindsight will also make you look like a very, very wise trader that can see the future, and you make genius moves. I don't know, maybe I try a back test of that line here. That could be some potential. All right, I'll pause. Okay, I have an order at that green line here. Looking for one NQ, either a scalp or I need to cancel that out of covering right above where I actually wanted to get in. All right, never mind on that one. All right, I am looking to pick up some puts there. No, not breaking down. I can always re-enter in. So let's maybe try again a bit higher here. There we go. I'm glad I took that out. That was the right move. It was not rolling over. And I think, come on, get rolling over. If you're going to roll over, you should be wanting to roll over. And it didn't. So right here, hindsight made me look very smart. I definitely played that right. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of a push up to this area. Where are we at on the 5 minute? Yeah. Up around 60, I like. Yeah. Very much so if it wants to get up to that red line there. So we'll see if it can push up there, and I will be trying to go short. If you're a beginner, short means making money with prices going down. All right, I'll go ahead and pause. So there is the old trend line coming into play. I'm not really using it for anything anymore, but you can see it's struggling. Just a back test, former support, behaving as resistance. But like I said, for me, I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of that. Still up there at the red line there. So I want to see if it wants to make a bit more of a push in the upwards direction. All right, I'll pause. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get short there. And okay. So once again, just gave me a quick $30. Worst case, it would have filled me, went back up, and then I would have been able to add 5 more up there. But it didn't. It came down and then just continued on. So again, all right, I'm going to cancel that order up there. So I'll take it. I know. In hindsight, you should have, could have, would have held, but that's hindsight. The one down here, I'm glad I got out, like I said, because it popped back up. It would have been a losing trade. Do I know? Try to build. Maybe. Let's see if this thing wants to maybe I'll come up in the neck like it wants to come back down. So it could be another short in here. But all things considered, market's been open 20 minutes now. I'm up almost $200. So that's not terrible for 20 minutes worth of work. All right, I'll pause. But I'm going to go ahead and try to play some of this momentum here to the downside. So I got my $30. Was hoping it might bounce up a little bit more, not a whole lot more, so I could add in another 5 or so before it then kind of came back down, but it didn't. You can see that line there. And if I'm being brutally honest with myself, maybe a little bit. Again, I'm not going to say it was a terrible trade. There was still logic behind it, and in my defense, the trade did work out. But usually, you didn't see me draw that trend line there, but I drew that, and just actually for proof, I guess I can. So here's over in the private community that I offer, and you can see right here. Somebody drew a line, and I was like, that's funny, I drew this thinking bearish. So right there is where I drew that line. So the line was already in there. So then I missed the breakdown, and I think that also influenced the decision, a little bit of frustration on my part. Again, it wasn't like a total degen trade where there's zero logic, zero reasoning, just totally random. No, that wasn't the case. And like I said, it did work out, but I think that did factor into it a little bit. And wow, that's rough. Beautiful breakdown, beautiful breakdown. Yeah, but I guess not totally unexpected. I mean, look right where it bounced. I mean, a double bottom right there, boom. Power of charts. Are charts perfect? No, but I mean, that's hard to, I mean, right off of that low. Pretty crazy stuff. All right, I'll pause. All right, I'm going to try to catch a falling knife, which is never the wisest thing to do, but in my defense, I'm going to do it with 1 micro. So let's see here. I'm in. Stop is down there. So again, if I'm right and this thing bounces, I'm not going to make a bunch of money. If I'm wrong and if it comes back down, I'm not going to make a bunch of money. But so this is going to either be a really bad example because you really shouldn't try to catch falling knives, or it'll be a good example because it'll stop me out and be like, yeah, see, you should not try to catch falling knives. And as I say that all out loud, yeah, I'm just going to get out. You should definitely not be trying to catch falling knives. I realize that one's working, but that was quite the risky trade. Now, in my defense, wasn't totally degenerate. There is a pivot point down here on the 5-minute that I was looking to play off of, but still, yeah, I don't know if that's the best thing. I should be just flat out saying, yeah, let's catch a falling knife. Now, if you think a knife is maybe going to be done falling, or you have reason to believe it is no longer falling, that's different. But I mean, this situation, I was flat out saying, no, this is a falling knife, and I'm just going to buy a falling knife. That's not good. I want to clarify just to make sure. If you have a thesis that the knife is going to be stopping falling or has stopped, okay, fine. But if you're just saying, no, this is a falling knife, it is still falling, let's go, which is what I did. No, you don't want to catch falling knives. You only want to catch knives that seem to be, slowing down or seem to be done falling. But if you just admit, if you can see they are falling, that's not good. So that was, don't do that. Don't do that. Even though it worked out as a green trade, even though it would have worked out as a bigger green trade, still, don't do that. So, and on that note, I'm going to go ahead and just call it good. A little over an hour, up about $215-ish or so. So I'll take that. I don't know many places in the world where you can make over $200 in an hour, especially when I'm sitting here in my bathrobe, pajamas, hanging out with my family at home. So I don't say that to brag. I do say it though to build context that, yeah, I mean, if you're not greedy, if you're willing to take what the market gives you, then the market can be the futures market can be a pretty nice place. And before I go, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering that'll walk you through how I use charts to build consistency, manage risk, and then also make sure that you have the right framework. I've worked with lots of traders over the years. The site's been around, the channel's been around since 2013. So I see a lot of people show up in the markets and they have the best intentions, but they don't quite understand how things work, how they should be approaching things, how they should be thinking about certain things. And that's okay. When you're new and you don't know. If you're struggling, maybe there's still some things you don't quite understand. So the goal of this class is to make sure we tighten up those guardrails, tighten up the framework to make sure that you're viewing and approaching the market in the smartest way possible and using the tools as they're intended to be used. So if that sounds like it could be of value, then like I said, get signed up, go to claychart.com/live, or just check out the link in the description and that'll tell you when the next live class is. So thanks for hanging out. As always, if you appreciate these live trade videos, hit that like button. And if you're looking for a super free and easy way to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help out. So thanks for watching. Take care.